morning and hello, Gora. I didn't know that you were ill, but best wishes. It's a pleasure being here, coming and sharing, as Simone said to you, about some of the experiences that we have with creating some sustainable and resilient community in the city of Copenhagen, not Denmark. Copenhagen, just short. Yeah. Copenhagen is the capital of Denmark, and there are approximately 600,000 inhabitants living, and people are still moving to the city, and the families are not moving out. So the city is growing, and it also makes a pressure and gives us a tremendous task to build a livable city for all who wants to be a part of the community. And the bigger city is a metropolitan area there are approximately 1.5 million people living, and it's a big area. I represent today the City of Copenhagen, which is a municipality, and I currently work at the technical and environmental administration. It's the huge management administration, which consists of many divisions, and we have all the necessary authorities and constructors and planners and operators to make the city work in the way we want. And I am currently employed at something that is called climate adaptation and urban renewal, and our main task is to make our plans into some solutions. When we talk about climate resilience and climate change adaptation, we should not forget that it is all about the water management. Copenhagen has been working on it for at least 30 years, and thus all our successes that I can proudly present to you has not come overnight. So unfortunately, if you have the ambition that I would be able to share everything, I know I would gladly do it, but the time is scarce, just like in our job. Then I have to improvise and give you the most useful information. So we started climate resilience and adapting to the change with water quality plans. We wanted to improve the quality and in order to make it a better environment for the plants and animals, and of course for us people. So in order to achieve it, Copenhagen has a combined pipe system, which is over 100 years old, but every time that the rain was during the rain periods like here and on ongoing rain, we had an overflow and discharge to the harbor made it very polluted, and we had to move on. And thus we wanted to also make sure that the water that we discharge does not make the environment polluted. So we made a plan how to treat it. Then we invested in a modern wastewater treatment plant, so all this water could get treated before discharging into the environment. Then the climate change was about to become an issue, and we made a climate adaptation plan for the whole city. Then the Copenhagen was hit by enormous, catastrophic, disastrous events in 2011 while we were working on the climate adaptation plan, and thus the politicians wanted us to make a plan for dealing with cloudburst. So we also have a cloudburst plan. And this cloudburst plan that we have to start working with, implementation, as I said, and this is what it is all about. In the early days, it was all about as I said, preventing the discharge to the harbor and to the sea. Unlike here, you have the river, so in some way, if you let your problems out, it will go get away. And some people, communities call it downflows, will get your pollution. Here, in Copenhagen we can't do it because it's a shallow sea, and we get it back. So we were investing in some huge retention basins, and it worked. But what worked was that it was not enough. Then the local societies, communities, they wanted to be a part of transforming the city, making it more sustainable. The city has not always been a green, sustainable area, but it was also industrial, and you can see the harbor, how it looked like when the industry was like getting away, and it was not possible to maintain it. And through the water treatment and all these investments and some city plans, we today can swim it. This is a very iconic place, not only for locals but also for tourists. So water quality was a game changer, and it was a part of making a city more resilient. It was not enough because the climate change is something that we have to deal with, because the investments in all this are limited according to the capacity of the pipes. So we could see that the climate change for at least 50 years, that was back then, 10 years ago, we expected it to follow the normal climate change line predictions, and first in 50 years from today, we would have to deal with it, and we wanted to be sure that all our investments and projects can also work in 100 years from now. So it's a very long planning period. When we work with water, combined system, we wanted to supplement it with some surface solutions and use the water, rain, as it falls as a value, and not something that we let it go to the water treatment. And thus, our cloud-burst plan, which we started to implement, consists of approximately 300 projects. These projects are not the pipes. There are some pipes, but most of the projects are meant to be on the surface. And this is because it doesn't rain every day, and all these extreme events and dimensions criteria that we work with in 100 years from now may be wasted, because how often will it be fully used? So we want to create some new urban areas that were not existing. And these urban areas, perhaps it looks pretty simple, but it is very difficult to work with in the existing city. And the main point of what we want to do is not investing more money than necessary in the pipes, and thus to give something to the communities to work with. Going from the plan and just building 300 projects that you don't really have a space for is easier said than done. And this is our biggest challenge: how to make our investments and projects more valuable for us, people, citizens. And we have to divide it, and we work with smaller areas, which are all bind together with the flow of the water. And when we get to the smaller area, then this is the local communities where we try to figure out how to frame the project in order to lift the quality of this particular local space. This is also easier said than done. In order to be able to do that, we cannot only rely on engineering, how to make projects, constructions, planting trees, town biologists, and so on. but we all have to sit down and start thinking and start working on how to make most out of the project. And it is through urbanization, the city of Copenhagen has not always been that big and tight. It has been growing and spreading from the medieval city, but we can see some historical areas and corridors which we try to use to green the city and strengthen the connections with the outskirts of the city. And thus, we can also create some green areas and opportunities for people to meet and discuss how to do it, how to green it, how to simply meet there and have some places that you want to spend some time in. And we are also very aware that it is very necessary that the local citizens get involved. And we also have some processes, organizational, that are supporting this. One of these topics that how we approach it, just an example here, we have the inner city, this is like your old city, and we have some lake systems here, but you can right here, it's easy, and we try to use these lakes and water body system in order to use it during the cloudburst event. At the same time, citizens would also like to be able to swim. And on the other side, you have so many protections and the European Union Water Frame Directive that is obliging us to work and protect the water quality. So we cannot just make a project and pour the water in the lakes and use it. But we are really trying to do our best in order to make a solution that could lift this very precious area even further without using too much money, because the alternative really does not exist. In other way, that we have to dig a huge tunnel to get the water away. And in order to be able to use this, we have to find a way of ensuring the water quality. And it is also very complicated because the rainwater is not clean, although it's cleaner than this wastewater. But there are so many pollutants in it that we just can't let it out without very advanced cleaning. And we are working on it right now, as I speak, on making some business cases and analysis how much will it cost and is it beneficial to the local. How much time do I have? Okay. This is the first time that I got a little bit more time. Thank you. Usually we don't have time, we have to make solutions. Local communities involvement, this is the key word. So if you want something from me to the main message is we have to engage us as citizens as well in it. We can't leave everything to the authorities, but in order to success, we also need authorities and some plans. So it is a mixture. This is another project that is under construction, and we expect to be finished in March. And this is it is going to be a huge success. It already has engaged the local society here, and this is a part of collaboration between climate change cloudburst project and some local area renewal, where the citizens have been a part of transforming this area into a cloudburst project in a livable urban space. And some of these qualities that they wanted to get is that we will transform the area into a more biodiversity and with water body that will, over the time, with all this water cleaning, get into a great habitat. not everything, not all projects and solutions are possible just on the surface. We have some barriers and we have to combine with some pipes. And also there are some areas where it is simply not possible for the time being because we are not there. We cannot remove asphalt. And thus, what to do? We have to still work on climate resilience and climate adaptation and try to join this main project and in order to get some water treatment in it. And this is one example where we are making even more bus lanes, special bus lanes, and there it is an asphalt project, but underneath we can find some space to store the water during the cloudburst, and this water can then be used for watering the trees. So this is another kind of like how to combine the climate adaptation with some other ongoing projects in the city, and thus we try to make 2 + 2 = 5, not 4. There are some issues about the salt, but it doesn't matter. We have some technical engineers who are very good in finding solutions about this. One of the early projects, it was in the city, and it was a great success. And we have restored the alley, and we have added a dimension, another function for climate adaptation. So the area is not only a livable place during nice weather, but also when it rains, you can go there without needing some boots. In your apartment, this is we can't cope with delegations. People are interested to come and see what we have achieved. This is also a combined project, but the idea was that when this iconic park was to be restored, then we have transformed the whole park area into a huge potential water cloudburst retention place. So, during the cloudburst, we would be able, if necessary, to store about 23,000 cubic meters. It's a lot. And nevertheless, the park would not be ruined. The park is also resilient to get water into it without being damaged. Another project, here you can see before and after. We are still experimenting, and this is a project where we restored the local area again with the local citizens' input, and we try to work with some different kind of solutions in order to get more biodiversity. And there are 8 different areas which are constructed in order to be habitats for different plants and insects and organisms. It's also a very popular play. This is from Wow, and here we are treating some runoff in a way that we haven't done before, but we are monitoring just to be sure that we are not making some pollutions. This is climate resilient neighborhood, Hrubenja. It was an experiment that was prior to the climate adaptation, where we were trying to make a laboratory and see how it might work. This is also a great success. We have restored the parking lot and made some retention project. This is also from the same project where this very heavy trafficking area was also transformed into a urban wild forest. In Copenhagen, maybe in Vilnius it's not too extreme, but in Copenhagen it is because it's too wild. Nevertheless, we are still learning. And we can see that by far it has given some results that we were hoping to get, and some places they have exceeded our expectations because they were carried by the local citizens, and then you know, when you have a sound basis, then it's easier to get some creative people like some of you over there will take over from me, and then you can come and add some new functions that fit into the space that we create. It's still very good economic business case for us if we look and estimate how, if we don't do anything, we can see a tremendous damage. And our investment, 1.6 billion euros, is still a good business case. We have a surplus of 0.7 billion euros. So it's a good thing for Copenhagen, the city of Copenhagen, to invest the money in the climate adaptation and not building pipes, because the other one is then too expensive. So the pipes alone is not a good business case. The city of Copenhagen cannot do it alone. Without our municipality company, it wouldn't be possible. The utility company, they have engineers, hydraulics, and so on. They're also the cashier, because they collect the taxes, the water taxes, that then they can channel to cover the cost of the city of Copenhagen's projects, because they're cheaper than the projects that the utility company should build these pipes. We have a very effective governance. This is very important. When you work with 1.6 billion euro projects, then you need a governance, and this is on all these levels, from the CEO levels, then all back down to where we are, where I am, somewhere here, and we try to get our good ideas and projects all the way through. What we have learned, I've been talking about it already, but it is learning by doing. No secret about this. I am an expert, but I would like to get even more expertise if you come by time, because we are getting further for each project that we make, and we have perhaps underestimated the complexity of the project, because not only the space in the city is scarce, but it is also impossible to follow these previous disciplines like engineering. We are dealing with it, well, the project is done, we go on and let's make a toast. No, because the city goes on, the climate is changing in a way that we don't know and we cannot predict, and we have to adjust to the climate changing all the time, and we have to take care of the money that it doesn't accelerate, that the budgets still are correct, and we also have to all the time zoom in and out in order to not to forget where the city is moving, where the citizens want us to move, and thus this is a very difficult task, because we have to be awake and all the time alert, and then we have to follow our goals, because this is not for fun. It is a huge challenge to make city resilient, because there is no space, and when the water comes, we want to be able to go to work, and we want to be able to come back home from work without seeing our home destroyed and damaged by the water. And thus, we should not forget that all these solutions, it is not either we build it on the surface or we put it in pipes. It's more both and, because we have to combine, and we can see that our original projects, even they were well described and we've been working on, but perhaps the frame has changed, because it takes some time to get through it, and then we have to reassess our project before just building it. And in order to do that, we also must all the time stay in touch with our citizens, because they are the key to the success, because when we come with our project proposal or we discuss the possibilities, perhaps there might be some good ideas that we who work at a city hall, we don't know, we are not aware. So we also try to get in touch with this trending, and perhaps some of them amateurs, they have better ideas, which we professionals must take care in our considerations. That's it.